Hi. So when I was trying to think about what to write my personal narrative about, I kind of kept coming back to the most impactful conversations in my life. The ones that, for better or worse, are kind of seared in my brain. So without further ado, here is my personal narrative. First conversation. It was the second semester of my first year in college, and while the routine was usually frantic, hop out of bed late, throw whatever I had on, rush to class. Today, today was different. It was crystal clear blue skies outside, perfect weather. There was magic in the air. And I just knew that something good was going to happen. So it was with confidence and excitement that I made my way to the crusty, dusty Jester elevator to go down, make my way to class 20 minutes early, a rarity, I might add. And I was in the elevator when I saw him. The doors opened, and there he was. He was a friend of a friend, or a friend of a friend of a friend. It didn't really matter, but the point was is that we only knew each other's names. We had never really had any conversations, certainly without friends present, and certainly never in a romantic, cozy elevator. So this day just kept getting better. I didn't really know him, not really, but I did know that he was tall and handsome and had kind eyes and a super cool messenger bag that made my purple Jansport look a little lame. Anyway, I was looking at him when, but he looked up. Our eyes met. But he took out an earbud, a signal of interest. But and we had the easiest conversation I've ever had in my life. We, I should have gone to class, but I was running early, and who knew this could be my future husband, so I walked with him, and we talked about everything and nothing. We talked about where we were from, me from Round Rock, him from Houston. We talked about our majors, him computer science, me English at the time, even what music we were listening to. I think I was listening to Vampire Weekend and he was listening to, honestly, I don't remember, but it was probably super dreamy and intriguing. Anyway, we're talking about our high school. We both went to an engineering magnet school, so there was a bunch of commonality there. And I don't remember how it came up, but he said something. Yeah, anyway, that's when I did my internship at Texas Instruments. Now, I have to pause here, and I have to tell you that, for those of you who don't know, Texas Instruments is an electronics company. I know that. I knew that. At that very moment, my trusty TI-84 graphing calculator that had helped me fail so many algebra tests was in my backpack. I know that. I knew that. I know that. You know that. We all know that. But Brain, poor, sweet, wonderful, traitorous Brain, chose to say instead, that is so cool. I was in band in high school too. I watched as his smile stayed on, but his eyes kind of grew worried, concerned. Very politely, he kind of let out a what? And I should have, I would have stopped there. But traitorous Brain, who was so bent on forming a connection in this chaotic freshman year, Brain pressed onward, barreled onward, and said, "Yeah, I played the saxophone." It was horrible, and there was no saving it. So the next thing that came out was, anyway, okay, bye, guys, see you, bye. And I swore never, ever, ever to see him again. I started taking the stairs to avoid the elevator, and that's huge because I lived on the 14th floor of Jester. And I wish I could tell you that I never had to interact with him again, and I never had to have a conversation with him while my brain just whispered, Texas Instruments. I wish I could tell you that. I wish. But the terrible, horrible truth is that I married him. And that is the very true story of my first ever conversation with my wonderful, brilliant, very gracious husband. Thanks for listening. Take care.